occupations. This make the main position is intuition before equation.
I'll go ahead and start off the questions, Professor.
Thanks, Simon.
My name is Henry Jardine. I'm the U.S. Consul here in Chiang Mai. Thank you for coming to Chiang Mai. It's a very interesting presentation. One question I did have related to your last point about being able to, I guess, hold people if they were willing to add or increase their taxes for economic benefits and maintaining peace. One question I did have in the conversation about the causes of war, looking at the history of some of the wars such as World War II, where the Japanese, one of the causes that was contributed to the Japanese interest in economic security by going into China and going into Indonesia. So when you look at the justifications of wars, economic, or some countries or some situations where they decided that it's to their economic benefit to secure resources or some other economic benefit. How do you balance that and do you present that to, say, your average taxpayer and say, there may be an economic benefit in a war, but then there's also, obviously, an economic benefits in peace. And how would it be possible to break those down and to distinguish different benefits and present that in a way?
I think we should do that. I think that when we're thinking about a war, as we were thinking about a war, we should definitely be all shown a cost-benefit study. And what are the costs, what are the benefits from doing it? And there may well be some benefits on some occasions. And then let's base the discussion about war, at least partly, on economic cost-benefit studies. Right now it's all emotional or political. And I'd rather see a wider debate. Accept that. Now, whether you can separate the benefits from tribal thoughts, it's not a question. That's a little difficult in practice, but I'd like to see that tried. And certainly if we didn't do that in the Gulf War, the Second Gulf War, I mean, it'd be interesting to see that those numbers before.
Fleetingly at the bottom of one of your charts, which indicated that the costs of war did not include casualties and wounded. And I would like to ask you if you think there's any possibility for sort of developing a fuller estimate of costs of war, which would include that, what the obstacles are, and how that might change the calculus. Thank you.
Issues of the cost of September 11th, 2001 attack, they put numbers on the value of the lives lost. And so there are accounting procedures available in terms of loss, lifetime income, and various other things, how much you can insure people for, and so forth. So it's possible, as horrible as it sounds, to put a number on the value of the life. Whether it's sufficient, I have no idea, but there are ways to do it. And you can even do it, it's more horrible in terms of people who are higher educated, worse than people who are less educated. I don't know what the men and women say. But you can be sophisticated about it, but there are ways to get numbers. Now, I assume that these people could go back and ask about civil war, casualties and so on. In those days, there were different numbers of people then, translated up to the current dollars. But it's pretty clear that if you put some of the numbers in, those numbers would overwhelm the numbers I'm showing you. World War I and Civil War, the cost of lives was huge compared to the economic costs. I think it may not be true of World War II. I don't know, I've not seen it. But what I'm saying is that I know it's possible to do it. They may have done it, I don't know how to do it.
So I would like to ask whether there is a
Everything's possible. Not by me, not this. Yeah, I think for people out there who can do anything, just take money, just doing a proper study to do it correctly. Think about it first, then do it. But I'm not following these things up. I just found these numbers, I thought they were interesting numbers, so what was that? But you're right, they suggest as many problems as they solve.
Professor Granger, my name is Clive Granger. I'm a former president of the Chiang Mai Congress. You have a very interesting picture, and looking at your chart and look at the world situation right now, it seems that the world now is very volatile. And any time it would happen that we should have something happening like World War III. But according to Albert Einstein, he foresees that if it happened that there would be a World War IV, that time people would have to fight with axe and stone and spear and knife again. But you see that situation. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope I'm not here then. I think that if there's a World War III of the nuclear kind, there won't be enough people left to worry about fighting for a long time afterwards. Going to spread out. But eventually, of course, mankind fights. That's true of many animal species. And when there's more people than resources, we can fight for it. What we're now in a situation of is that, apart from some obvious exceptions, the resources are pretty good. You can think of all those shortages of oil and whatever, but all those are sort of short term. I'm sure we can solve eventually most of our present shortages by changing technology. I'm optimistic, and in my lifetime I've seen the world get better, in my opinion, not worse. But there's always danger. That's what we have to keep fighting for. Disarmament and proper solutions to problems. I don't know. I hope it doesn't work. Happen around here.
I'm Ari from Chiang Mai University. You already have touched on the technology a bit. I believe that with this high technology, in order to continue peace, the cost to keep the peace might be also higher than what happened in the past. That's one question, and what do you think about that? And since your causality is so well known, may I ask you about this econometric question? I know that there's many people in this room also learn econometrics. In the causality, well, economists tend to interpret the relationship on when you regress y on x as the x causes the change in y. But non-economists will say that's only show the relationship, or in simple word, it is only the correlation. So please, we like to answer this one.
Well, if you look at causality, that's a really difficult, deep problem. Actually, I've been invited to a conference of philosophers in Germany this year. That shows you how important economics has become. To talk about causality in economics, philosophers. The philosophers have been talking about causality for over 2,000 years, and we still haven't solved what it is. I'm not sure we're going to solve what it is in a few years. My attitude towards causality is a purely pragmatic one. That if we can find a definition of causality personality that people find useful and apply and then get better models and produce things that they find useful, helpful, then I think that's going to be the method we will use. When the better method comes along that we find more helpful, then just replace the old one with a new one. And that's fine too. So I'm totally pragmatic on the definition. I think that there has to be time flow. The effect has to be before the cause has to be before the effect, and the cause has to have special information. And that then the minimum requirements of the cause. And once we have that, we can build models based on different applications. That is the definition that I have in question. And it has been very widely accepted in the sense it's been used. Everyone says that's not real causality, that's only Granger causality. And that phrase is very famous, so that's great. But yeah, causality is a very deep question. I'm not going to solve it. We can make it very useful. Can I help?
Thank you for your very interesting lecture and difficult just for this university. And we now have learned lots of the reasons for the war has happened in the past so long, and now we running for the peace. And I'd like to know what is the real means cause of the wars that's going to happen in our world. That's my question.
I didn't catch it, sorry.
I'm curious to know what is the main cause of the war that happened in our world in the past and now at present time today by Iran. Also maybe it will getting in Europe maybe or we can I'm not sure. But I'd like to know what is the main cause of
what I can say is that if overall happen, what will be the main cause of the next war?
Oh, excellent.
What will be the main cause?
Main cause. Next World War.
Not next World War. I mean, what is the main cause? The main cause that's make human go to war. You understand, or do you catch what I'm saying?
I mean, it depends who's fighting the war and where they fight it. Wars can be big and small anywhere. It depends on what the war is and who does it. I mean, the war in Africa, which doesn't involve very high tech weapons, for example.
What would be the reason for the war?
Reason for the war. I see. I think that as an economist, that's not the question that I'm going to answer, but my belief is that most wars are caused by political reasons, not economic reasons. And politicians don't state the objective of the war very clearly, even if they knew it. Some wars, at the time they start, are pretty obvious why they started. And some wars are never obvious why they were ever fought. You never work out why certain wars ever make sense. And some wars, I'm thinking of the Falkland War, which you probably don't know much about, it was just pure belief that Britain was still king of the waves and should not be beaten by another country. It was just pure arrogance. It wasn't economic reasoning. It could justify economics, but that wasn't the reason. So there's no simple answer to that question. I think there are many different reasons, and most of them are not rational.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer, and I would like to recommend that the First World will never happen if our mind has compassion to all sentient beings in our world, and also we want to love each other with compassion. Thank you very much.
Good morning, sir. My name is Simhan Gautam. I'm the first year student of the Faculty of Economics, Chiang Mai University. From what you have addressed at the end of your speech, that in peace we prepare for continued peace. So I have a question from that. Well, as you know, the war in Iraq, as the U.S. government calls it the war for peace, but what is really going on, as I've noticed, it creates fear in our everyday life, not only the American people, but globally, and also the economic. So I'm just wondering what is the point of that. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm hoping people are going to say that we are enjoying peace and we would like to continue it, want people to continue it. And currently, you might well hate somebody else or dislike somebody else for recent events. And I hope people will try and go beyond that and say, well, let's see what would happen in a month, a year or 2 years. How do we, if I lose that current hatred or dislike, what's best for the country, what's best for me, what's best for my family. And then really all going to be peaceful answers, not all that nonsense. I don't want to be specific because you could say something that's hurtful to somebody, and I don't do that. But I'd like people to always try and think of the objective, having an objective about something and be forward-looking, not just quick reaction and then dump to something. And I'm very annoyed about the Iraq war. And I was one of many people who didn't like it in the first place, and that way it's going on and on and on and on. So, and it just shows once you start a war, it's not so easy to finish it these days.
And I would like to ask you the basic assumption from your lecture today is that the United States is the cause of war because all of your charts show that the economy from the United States, that is first question. And the second one is that what is the peace in your, the definition of peace for you? Is that peace mean not having war alone? Is that peace mean the welfare of the people of the world? And that is my two questions. Thank you.
Whenever there's a dominant country, they're inclined to want to show that they are dominant and they protect their interests the way that other countries can't do. And that happened with Portugal and Holland and Britain and France and other countries over the years. And before that, I'm sure there were many Alexander the Great and Genghis Khan and so on. Anybody who was dominant very just was pretty blatant about defending themselves. And I'm not defending that attitude, I'm saying that's just the way it happened. in recent years, I think that the Afghanistan war was quite well supported by the public in the United States. They were very angry about September 11th, 2001, and the Taliban were the natural people to take revenge on it. The second Gulf War was unpopular in America, is that it wasn't clear that was the right thing to hit. America wanted to get back at somebody for that attack, terrorist attack. And some people thought that was the right place to go, and others didn't think it was. So that was a very strong debate. And he was led to war. And that's not defending it. That's democracy. It doesn't work so well always. Democracy works well for the moment. Democracy is for the whole family at the time. And unfortunately, people suffer. Not that people have any part of the decision, as has been shown in the present war. There's a book by Nobel Richardson called History of Wars, and it's amazing how many wars have been in the world in the last 500 years. It's enormous, isn't it? It's their wars, it's almost the typical situation like this. And I think that the movement for requiring peace has to become much stronger. People who have unnecessary wars should be punished and not supported. Economically punished, I should say.
So my question is that would it be possible for someone to win a war using by affecting the economy of the opponents, or nowadays we still have to smoke them out?
Yeah. Well, trade sanctions is an example where you try and do that. And it's clear that with the present way the world is constructed, if you have proper trade, if you had complete trade sanctions, you could win a war. But people are very inventive of getting around trade sanctions, and most trade sanctions are legal. So you don't quite win the war. You can affect the other country, but not win it. And every example I know of with trade sanctions has always not quite succeeded. If you had if the world really wanted to impose trade sanctions, I think they could pretty well shut down any economy pretty quickly. And they didn't want to, so remote. They couldn't affect them, but most economies now will quickly want to give way to just have big sanctions. That's an example of the country.
Would a sanction work on terrorists?
No, unless you know where they are. Terrorism is a whole different. It's not really a war. It's how we find war. It's a different problem entirely. A huge problem. You have to get to the source of the whole thing.
Thank you for all the questions. Now I would like to Associate Dean of the Department of Economics, Dr. Sangsi, to express his sincere credit to Professor Granger for an outstanding lecture. Dr. Sangsi, please.
Nobel Laureate Professor Clive Granger, Vice President of Chiang Mai University, Associate Professor Dr. Tanan Mandas, President of the International Peace Foundation, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great privilege and my pleasure to participate in this special event this morning. We may all agree that the lecture we just heard this morning helps broaden our perspective, which I consider very knowledgeable and enriching. Take us look into the world phenomenon and their impacts with understanding. better and better. We have to admit that the world today has been changed very rapidly and has a wide impact regarding economic situation. Anything that happened in the world, no matter where, could eventually impact the well-being of people in our country. The economic peace, which is chosen to be the topic of the lecture, is very appropriate and timely for the world today. It also gives tremendous insight both for the policy makers and people in general. Moreover, the lecture has enhanced our understanding of the effect of the different variables on the economy and world peace. On behalf of the Faculty of Economics and all the audience, I would like to express my deepest and sincere thanks to the President of Chiang Mai University, who gave us all full support in hosting this event. The President of the International Peace Foundation, organizer of British Dialogues toward Culture Peace program, who initiates this event and all who take part in supporting this program. Above all, I would like to thank Professor Clive Granger, Nobel Laureate for Economics, who has sacrificed his valuable time and made a great effort to share his knowledge and precious experiences with us today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Next, I would like to invite Vice President for International Relations of Chiang Mai University to give a token of our appreciation to Professor Granger. Vice President, please.
Thank you very much. Wow.
Thank you very much, Vice President. I also would like to invite the Dean of the Faculty of Economics, Ajahn Nobel, to give a token of our appreciation to Professor Granger. Be the name, please. Now, I would like to ask Professor Granger, Vice President for International Relations of Chiang Mai University, and some others to assemble in the front of the room for a group picture, please.